Paul Oneid does a phenomenal job in the world of coaching, and he has a really unique niche, I think, and his topic today, I think, is going to be really beneficial for everybody, myself included. I'm going to get my iPad, sit down, and start taking notes, because his topic allows people to be more efficient. At the end of the day, if you're more efficient, your clients will be more efficient, or your athletes will be more efficient. Paul's going to talk a little bit about himself and why you should listen to him, I think, first, so I don't need to go over his resume, other than the fact that he's been one of the strongest human beings in the world, subsequently also one of the most jacked.
Thank you.
Which is really, really cool. So without further ado, Paul Oneid.
Appreciate you, man. So when I was putting this talk together, I had a few thoughts. I said, okay, I'm speaking to high school, college, private sector strength coaches. What's the one problem that's preventing them from doing what they do best, which is serve others? My mind immediately went to community. And the problem with that is right now, where we are, community is the most coveted thing that you can build around your business, whether you're private sector or you work for a larger institution. Community is what is going to keep people engaged with you because they get none of it outside of your doors. The problem with that is, I was like, I'm gonna make this hard on myself. I'm gonna talk about the two things strength coaches hate the most. I'm gonna talk about social media, and I'm gonna talk about AI and tech, okay? So I made it really hard on myself. At the end of this talk, it's gonna go two ways, one of two ways. You're either going to have a ton of questions for me, or you're just gonna be silent. I'm hoping you have a ton of questions, and Joe has graciously offered after my talk, when everyone's giving their demos, if anyone wants to work through some specific problems with me that they think could be addressed with AI, I'm more than happy to sit on my laptop and take you through them, okay? Who am I and why should you care? Great question. First thing, why am I dressed the way that I'm dressed, right? Speaking at a conference, Joe showed up, polo, khaki shorts. I'm dressed jorts, oversized t-shirt, and a baseball cap. Personal brand. If I'm gonna show up and try to connect with you, I need to show up as my authentic self. And what we're gonna talk about today is how you can do that to a larger group. At the end of the day, I'm just a normal guy who's doing hard things and trying to get a little bit better every day. And I'm here to connect with you. And if we don't show up as our authentic selves, we're not gonna be able to connect. My goal is impact. Okay, you're gonna get the real me today. I might even drop some F-bombs, even though I promised Joe I'd be a professional, but here we are. And it's kind of funny that I kind of framed myself in that way because I'm gonna talk about two things, impact and connection, that most people associate the opposite with tech and AI. Most people assume that tech is cheating, it causes disconnection, and in a lot of ways, it's probably something that you hate entirely. For me, like many of you, I went through grad degrees, two of them in fact, because it was, I started with internships, worked into an assistant coaching role, director of strength and conditioning at the college level. Did the two grad degrees because it was easier to get a US work visa, student visa than a work visa. At the end of the day, the way we do things now is so different than the way we used to do things. I remember running to Staples in grad school with a USB stick and all of the ebooks that James Smith and Buddy Morris ever did, and getting them bound, you're nodding your head, right? Getting them bound in these spiral notebooks, and I was so stoked. I still have them in the garage right now. Unfortunately, for the tool we're gonna use today, which is about $20 a month, anyone with a few keystrokes can get all that information without any effort. In my business, we use AI to amplify our voices and create connections that are content-based and build relationships over time. That's how we've been able to be on pace as a business. If everything goes right, we're gonna gross over $1 million and spend $0 on ads, all through service, connection, and relationships. It's not really about dollars and cents, although dollars and cents are pretty cool. It's about making it more enjoyable and more engaged for the people that we work with every day. So even if you're a coach at a larger institution like university or high school, I'll guarantee you that your personal brand that I'm gonna show you how to build and how to communicate will make every aspect of your work and every aspect of the results of the people that you work with even better. It will remove the friction of marketing and sales for you entirely. Two things that we all hate, marketing and sales. So, my name is Paul Oneid. I'm a husband to my beautiful wife, Olivia, who's here today, even though I'm sure she's sick of hearing me talk. I'm the founder and head coach of Master Athletic Performance, a company I own with Liv, and we have 5 other coaches who work with us. We're lucky to work with about 250 clients at a time right now. I'm also the founder and lead educator of Coaches Corner University, a community-based education platform that teaches coaches to ask better questions, okay? Bridges the gap between knowledge, understanding, and the person in front of you. Like I said, I have a couple master's degrees, one from Robert Morris University in sports management, one from the University of South Florida in exercise science. I came up in the field of college strength and conditioning. For me, I left the field in 2014. It just wasn't for me anymore. I decided that I couldn't serve to the level that I wanted to, and I went to the private sector. I've been one of the strongest people on the planet, like Joe said. I've been ranked in the top 10 all-time in 2 different weight classes in powerlifting. I've been an above average bodybuilder, and right now I'm having a bit of a fitness identity crisis. Train like 2-3 times a day, started running, shoot guns, but I refuse to call myself hybrid because I'm not a loser. It's high rocks, not hot rocks. I would consider myself very grateful to be able to do what I want, when I want, how I want, with who I want. And when I started this whole thing, that's how I would define success. You know, just aside from the talk, I think a lot of us work very hard. We sleep short hours, we work long hours. How many of you have actually defined what success means for you? That's what I thought. I would take the time and define success for yourself, because what you come to realize is you're probably already there, and that's just more of a motivation to keep working hard and keep serving. I mention all of this not to boast or brag, but to show you what's possible when you do things the right way, when you lead with service and care. I believe about one thing about coaching, and that's you have to be the product of your product. Through my own life and business practice, I'm going to show you here today, and everyone I connect with in the online space, that you have the freedom of time and space, and you can make an amazing living and serve people at a high level. You just have to have the tools to do it. You don't have to sell out, you don't have to run sleazy marketing campaigns, you don't have to compromise your values to make money. If you want to be successful, you will have to play the game. But I don't know about you, but I'm playing the game my way. I just had a talk with Joe outside briefly about game theory. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I definitely believe in that. So the tools we're going to discuss are going to allow you a systematized way to enhance the quality of your service to your clients and build a community and connect with people while saving the time it takes to deliver it. In everything I do, I call this raising the bar. Okay? And I'm going to raise the bar for coaching. So what we're going to do today is going to be a live workshop. I'm going to explain the framework. We're going to do a live workshop. I will take you through exactly what I did. We're going to take one piece of content that we're going to develop here today, and I'm going to show you how to turn that one piece of content into 59, okay? And how to proliferate that across the internet. There will be a QR code at the end. So when it comes time, you can scan that QR code, throw in your email, and you can have access to everything. I called it the done for you content creator because I did all the work for you. You just have to put in your information. I think there's a QR code about halfway through. If you want to access the QR code, go ahead. But please, if you have a laptop or something like that, don't try to do it right now. Take the time at home. It'll be worth it. You're also going to use voice mode and stuff like that. And you're here to hear me talk, right? So first things first. How many of you guys use AI every day? Okay, beautiful. So you're familiar. How do you use AI?
Proofing emails, like checking for errors on like multiple lists, like cross-referencing stuff.
Are you mostly working in the chat function or in projects?
Chat.
So like just general AI?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. How many of you guys are familiar with GPT projects? Beautiful. What do you use the projects for?
Schoolwork.
Okay, great. How many of you guys are using any agentic AI features? Okay, I'll introduce those, but let's master the basics first. Now, how many of you are posting content every day? Great. Joe, yeah, for sure. Okay, how many people are at 10,000 plus followers? Okay, that's a problem because you guys are the best at what you do. You're not letting people know. Okay, and how many of you think AI, social media has made your lives harder? So there are no hands. Because here's the next question. How many of you have just opted out? Be honest. I mean opted out by not investing fully in it. Yeah, there you go, there's the hands. The number one problem that I'm gonna solve today is the fact that coaches step away from this stuff because they feel like it's pulling them away from the people in the room. But what you're missing is the power of what that offers. How cool is it for the clients that I work with, the coaches that I work with in a mentorship capacity, to hear me sitting in a room filled with people. They're gonna see this video that I'm recording and see me talking about things publicly that we do privately. They're gonna be so proud of the fact that they get to learn that stuff. They're gonna be so much more engaged with me just because I set up a tripod. I'm gonna do a whole lot of different things with this, but you guys are gonna love this shit. Let's get into it. I mentioned, I believe that we are in a recession of connection. What I mean by that is social media, the advent of AI, it's created a vacuum in the sense that people have all the information that they need. And a lot of coaches will say, Joe even said it to me today. He's like, I'm worried that this is gonna take my job. We're talking about a different thing. AI is not gonna take your job. But if you refuse to use AI, you will get left behind. I'm telling you right now. People are more disconnected than ever. And expertise is no longer a differentiator in this industry. The fact that you have all your knowledge does not matter. If you know the questions to ask, you can get 90% of the way there just by asking AI. And the disconnection has created a deep need for connection and authenticity. There's a reason why high rocks, run clubs, group fitness classes, there's a reason why these are all like having a resurgence. It's because people want to be a part of something bigger and they want the relationships that come along with that. We call this a moat around your business. So something that protects your business is your personal brand, the connections and the relationships that you're able to build. People want to resonate with you. They want to like you, know you, trust you, and if they do all those things, you will have them forever. The key to this is you need to create content that aligns with your core values, the mission of your businesses, and be able to resonate with your target audience as the product of your product. So if you're over here on the spectrum, your ideal client is somewhere along that journey. I keep referencing Joe, but I coach Joe's nutrition. He's the reason he's all jacked and swole now. I did all that work, not him. That started because he reached out to me about a picture that I posted of myself. I'm the product of my product, and you all should be the product of your product as well. Only way to do that is to showcase it. You didn't get into coaching to be a content creator. So you simply resolve to not posting content, or when you do post, you feel like you're yelling into the void, or you're not happy with the likes, the visibility. You kind of just post it to post it rather than having an intent behind it. We can't fight the way things are and opt out. Like if we do that, we're just gonna have a terrible time. We're not gonna make progress. And it's free marketing. If I post and I have 11,000 followers, then that has the possibility of reaching those 11,000 people or anyone around the world. And for me who runs an online business, that's very important. And even if you run a brick and mortar, the algorithm works small to large. If you location tag your posts, it will show it to people who are more local to you. And to do what we're gonna do today, we're gonna use the very tools they said are gonna take our jobs to actually make more money and serve people. Opportunistic irony. All you need is the free version of ChatGPT. I recommend that you do pay for it though. It's $20 a month for the free version, because what we're gonna do, you're gonna be adding a lot of assets to these projects, and every time you run a project, it racks up tokens a little bit quicker. So you're gonna wanna pay for the free version, but that's up to you. I call it the bow tie effect. I learned this from a mentor of mine, Kane Stevesant, who's the CEO of Coach Catalyst, which is a training app, nutrition app that we use at Master Athletic Performance. The first 3 pillars on this, right side of the bow tie, okay? We have brand identity, marketing and sales, engagement, and then right before service delivery, we have the purchase decision. I'm gonna assume that everyone in this room has amazing service delivery because you're serving your people, you're amazing coaches, you form great relationships when people are in the door, but we can always do it better. What I will tell you about the first 3 though is people look at these as silos. So they look at, I have my brand, I have my marketing and sales, I have my engagement strategies. None of these exist in a vacuum, and if you do the first 3 really, really well, that service delivery piece becomes even easier. And I'm gonna show you how. So your brand identity. What do people say about you when you're not in the room? To me, that is the definition of brand. If I say Apple, you immediately have an emotion about that. Whether you're a PC guy or girl, or you're a diehard Apple fan, you have an emotion associated with Apple. You know you have a feeling. Who is the person? Who do you serve? How do you serve them? What is your mission, your vision, your brand's values? Ours is encompassed in 3 words: raise the bar. What's yours? Have you taken the time to figure that out. Does your brand engender an emotion? Or as the kids say, good vibes, right? Does your brand have good vibes? Because at the end of the day, people don't remember facts, they remember how you make them feel. And if you articulate your brand in a way that creates an emotional response, you will create resonance. People will be able to see themselves in your brand. Marketing and sales, two of the worst words as a strength coach. I still hate them, I know you all hate them. But even if you work at a larger institution, you are every day marketing and selling to the kids in your room. I'm telling you that right now. Marketing and sales is acquiring a new audience and getting more eyes on your business. Nurturing your existing audience, meaning bringing them in and deeply connecting with them. There's 3 levels. So a prospect is someone who knows about you. So if we use the context of social media, a prospect is a follower, someone who follows you. A lead is someone who engages with you. That person who's always in your DMs asking questions, liking your posts, commenting, that's a lead. That's someone who actively wants to participate in what you're doing. And then you have a customer, someone who pays you money, someone who's in your room in front of you. When you're selling your services, if you do the first 2 steps well, right? So if you acquire the right type of eyes and you nurture them into your brand identity, sales is so easy because they come to you and they already want to buy your stuff. Think about the lifers, as Joe said. They're already bought in. As a coach, you can replace the word customer with client or customer with athlete. This part, it's establishing yourself as the person who solves a specific problem for a specific individual. And ultimately, we all want to build better humans. That's the core benefit of coaching. But I know that you guys are not here in this room learning about sports science, learning about competition, learning about speed work, because you just want to write programs and send them off, right? You want to serve people. You're not looking to churn and burn through clients. We need entry points, specific problems for specific people that allow you to move them closer to becoming the better versions of themselves. That is coaching. Maybe it's weight loss, maybe it's athletic performance, maybe you're a high school strength coach trying to teach kids about the lessons they can learn in the room. That is the problem that you solve for that specific person. Whatever gets them in the door, that's the problem. But I'm telling you right now, that is not going to keep them in the room. What's going to keep them in the room is engagement. This is perhaps the thing I am most passionate about in my work, whether it be with coaches or with clients, is how do I engage with these people? Speaking their language, resonating with their emotions, empathizing with their barriers, showcasing the multiple solutions to their problems that I have and they need, improving buy-in by forming relationships, and then creating community and connection, which is the most important part of engagement. Making people feel like they're a part of something bigger than just a transaction. The last thing you want is for someone to pay you money, you train them and send them out the door. You're not helping them. We need to form deep, meaningful relationships with them and others like them. People come for the service and they stay for the community. So the power of content. If you're just doing this within the 4 walls of this room or your room, I can tell you right now, you're not building any brand authority. No one outside those walls knows who you are or gives a shit. You're all the best at what you do. The problem is that no one knows because you haven't told them. And more than that, you haven't shown them. That's what content can do. It can also help you market to your ideal client. It can help you speak to that high school athlete. It can help you speak to that parent of that high school athlete to sell them your services. Even for someone who works in the college sector, it can help you relate to the people that are in your room. If you're old like me, coaching a 17-year-old, it's kind of hard to relate. It can nurture your leads, so it can bring people into the brand. It can teach them about your values. It can show you as the solution to their problems. It can also elevate your clients. When you showcase your clients on social media or showcase your clients in the content that you're creating, they feel important. And if they feel important, they're gonna wanna talk about you. And it creates a community around your coaching. This is the missing piece. People believe that when they post online, they're posting for new eyes. What I have found reliably over time is the people who engage with your content the most are the people who are already paying you or working with you. I'm gonna pause there, because that's very important. The people that engage with my posts have already made a purchasing decision with me. They want to engage. If you're serving them well, they will love you and they will consume everything you put out. That's what creates community, because then everyone is bought into the same goals. By focusing on the left-hand side of the bow tie, you're continuously reinforcing the brand, selling and engaging your current clients, which will help with retention. They will feel connected and validated with the stuff that you do, because that's the stuff that you're talking about in public that you do in private. This is a really interesting topic because it brings together a lot of interesting things. How many of you pay attention to likes, shares, saves, that sort of stuff? Yeah, most of you should pay, if I'm posting online, I might as well pay attention to it. So I made a post, this was about 2 years ago. I used to clip these Zoom calls that I did with mentees, because every Thursday I do a group call with my mentorship clients. And the posts looked like shit. It was just squares of faces, me talking, some captions. They never did well. Like in terms of the vanity metrics of likes, shares, follows, they never did well. I made one post like that. It got 15 likes. That one post made me $35,000. Even if dollars are not the end goal, it's highlighting a very important point. That call had 15 coaches in attendance. There's 15 faces. Created community. It showed that I had a community around my coaching. It spoke to a very real problem that coaches face. It created resonance. They saw themselves in the problem that I was presenting on. It provided an actionable solution, which was value. And then it had the validation of someone on the call chiming in and telling the group how much that solution had helped them. I provided evidence. So it showcased community, resonated, provided value, and showcased evidence. Yeah, this talk is partly focused on social media, and admittedly, I don't even have a large following relative to a lot of my peers. I think the last time I checked, I actually made a really easy post the other day that went viral, so it's up a little bit. But I have about 11,000 followers. My wife, who's thankfully she's on my team, she's got 5 times the number of followers that I do. But the thing is the people that follow me are actively engaged, and if I sell something, they're gonna buy it. If I put it out, they consume it. And that's ultimately what you want. Follower counts, likes, views, those are cool. Engagement is the key. That is why our company has grown the way that it has. I don't need a massive following, because as long as they believe in you, you're gonna be successful. Another key point here is you need to stop building a garden on someone else's property. What do I mean by that? I was at a conference in Orlando recently, about a year ago, and there's this thing going around where if someone reports your profile enough times, Instagram will deactivate your profile. And someone was targeting this conference, and anyone who tagged, the person running the conference was getting reported and having their Instagram accounts disabled. And they were targeting people with very large followings. There was people with hundreds of thousands of followers having their accounts disabled on the spot while they were standing at the conference. So they go, they meet someone, say, hey, I'll follow you. And oh shit, my account's gone. Not a single one of them cared, because even though they had hundreds of thousands of followers, they had massive email lists. And so if they needed to restart their accounts, all they'd have to do is send an email, because they owned their leads. No one could take away those emails because they had already collected them. And if you're doing Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, correctly, it's simply a vector to get people's email addresses. That's all you're trying to do. So your content needs to drive people to a place where they can give you their email in exchange for some sort of value, and then you can own it, communicate with them. Our email lists between both companies are about 20,000 emails. We get a 30% delivery rate. I'm not very good at math. That's a lot of people who's opening our emails. Now, if you go to Instagram, you might only get 1% of the views from your active followers. So email is a much more intimate and accurate way to market your services. If you look at social media, it's just a vector to get emails. And so what do you need to do that? You need a lead magnet. So a lead magnet is just a free offering that you can exchange for someone's email and contact information. And we're gonna build one today. I'm gonna show you how to build one. Very easy. You're gonna need an email, which I hope everyone in this room has an email. This is what you're gonna use for funnels from that lead magnet, which we can create. Newsletters. We're also gonna need some form of long form video or blog post, which we're gonna create today. These can be showcased on your website, Facebook, LinkedIn, Substack, even creating YouTube scripts. And then social media, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Facebook. If any of you are posting Reels, I would encourage you to cross-post to Facebook, because this is just an aside. Facebook is really pushing Reels right now, so if you want more visibility, go over to Facebook. AI is not replacing you. It can't create a philosophy. It can't replace your experience. It can't develop personalized programming. It can't understand context and circumstance, and it can't provide high-level proactive decision-making. It's not there yet, and personally, I don't believe it will ever be there because people are people and people do people things. AI cannot form new relationships or nurture existing ones. It can't communicate, it can't have an emotional connection, it can't create community, and it can't create empathy and resonance. What AI can do is it can amplify you. It can amplify your voice, it'll leverage the assets that you already have, and it allows you to multiply your impact. And that's what today is about. So this is what we're gonna do today. So the 10-80-10 rule is what honestly people miss the back half and they get stuck in the middle. So if you prompt AI and give it the right examples, let it do 80% of the work, and then you refine the last 10%, you'll be really, really stoked at the outputs. Just a little tidbit about prompting. I didn't put this in the talk. I should have made a slide about it, but take notes here. When you are prompting AI, you need 4 things. You need to tell it what role it is playing. So an example here. You are a social media copywriter with an expertise in sports performance, or you are a YouTube copywriter with an expertise in sports performance. You need to tell it exactly what job it is supposed to do. The next is context and content. I want you to take this document, this logo, this website, this transcript, these studies. Just know more context isn't always better, better is better. So only give it what you need it to look at. Okay, just a point there. The output. So we have role, context, and content, then we have output. I want you to write a 5 to 7 minute YouTube script for a video highlighting the importance of nutrient timing around the training window to improve performance. Here's the most important piece, the pull. AI will make assumptions based on the information that it has. I want you to finish the sentence for me. Mary had a little, that's what AI does. That's all it does, is it looks at the information and fills in the gaps. So if you don't give it all the information, it's gonna make assumptions. And you do not want that when you're creating content that is gonna be shared publicly. So you have to ask it to clarify with you. Ask me any questions you might have in order to provide the best, most accurate outcomes. If you add that last sentence, it will start peppering you with questions so it can get better context, so that it can provide a better output, which is what you want. So what do you need to have? QR code. ChatGPT. Again, what we're doing, we're gonna do it in ChatGPT, but if there is another AI platform that you like using, this will work in that platform. So personally, I like to use Claude, especially because of all the agentic services that it has recently launched. So I've pivoted away from ChatGPT to Claude, but everything you developed here today, all the assets that you develop, can be just transferred into Claude in the exact same way, okay? You're gonna need 2 to 3 examples of your writing. So I'm sure many of you have written newsletters, emails, blog posts, articles. As long as you have 2 to 3 examples of your own authentic writing, this will work. Some nice to haves, 2 to 3 examples of you speaking. So if you've ever been on podcasts, or you've done YouTube videos, or you've given presentations like I am now, that's one of the reasons why I'm filming. You can even use a software like Descript, or YouTube actually has a native feature now where it can pull transcripts from videos. Just get the transcripts of those and use 2 to 3 examples in the project. The other thing that you can use is Loom. How many of you know what Loom is? Okay, if you don't know what Loom is and you own a business, you absolutely need to be implementing it. It's the best $14 that we spend on our business every month. It is a screen capture software that has a little picture of you or a little video of you in the bottom. So when you're communicating to people virtually, they can see your face and hear your voice. So that gap of proximity that you have when you're working remotely, or even if you're trying to communicate to somebody you work with in person, a concept outside of the weight room, that connection is so much better. Plus, it's a game changer because it gives you transcripts. So you can just copy those transcripts of you talking authentically to your people and put it in the project. Another software that might be useful, Fathom, Read AI, or Otter, something that transcribes and records your video calls. So if you're somebody who spends a ton of time on Zoom, like myself, it will record your call, it will give annotated notes on it, and will give action items that it emails to all parties that are on the call. So if you're doing sales calls of any kind, it's phenomenal because the person who you just did the sales call, if they don't convert right away, they're sent off with a piece of value at the end. Just a quick note here, and this is something I think a lot of you will benefit from hearing because you don't believe it yourself. Everything that you do on a daily basis is content. It's all intellectual property. Every coaching cue you give an athlete, every email you send, every Zoom call you do, every lecture you give, every side talk beside a rack when someone misses a PR, that is intellectual content. With this multiplication system, you can repurpose any of it. And it's really, really easy. What we're gonna do today, I actually did it on a plane. With airplane Wi-Fi, I was able to do this. So we're gonna build a ChatGPT content creation writing assistant project. I've literally done all the heavy lifting for you. So these 4 GPTs are in a resource in that QR code. If you access that QR code, I'll put it at the end as well. The first one is your life story. Again, remember the moat around your business is you. You have to tell your life story. And I can tell you right now, it's really cathartic to put that out there, right? So these GPTs will interview you and they will pull out core topics, and they're also gonna call you out when you try to give a shit answer. Each one is gonna take about 30 to 45 minutes to do. So your life story, your ideal client avatar, I want you to get to know that ideal client avatar, that person that you are trying to solve problems for. I want you to know them so intimately, you know when they eat and shit. That is the key to everything that you do in marketing. Your self-scribe. Your self-scribe is your personal writing style, okay? That self-scribe GPT, it's basically a personality test, but it puts out something pretty cool. And the last is your brand scribe. So it's essentially your brand's mission, vision, values, everything that it encompasses and how it does what it does. Then you're gonna need those 2 to 3 writing examples, 2 to 3 speaking examples, and I'm actually gonna give you guys a gift. How many of you can tell when someone wrote something with AI? Okay, it's called AI slop, right? They use M dashes, they kind of overuse specific words. They'll kind of stick with the same framework of most people miss this. This document in the resource is called Voice DNA. It's actually going to cue the AI to remove all of that. So that's my gift to you. Anytime you do anything in AI, throw that document in, okay? It'll fix everything. So all of these, again, in-depth interviews that will take some time. I encourage you to use voice dictation. So don't try to type this all out. I literally want you to verbal diarrhea into the chat. Anything that's on your mind, childhood trauma, wins, losses, love, failures, everything. Put it all in there. It's gonna ask clarifying questions, and at the end of it, it's gonna provide you with an asset. That asset, I want you to save it because it's gonna be useful now and in the future. You can always go back as well. So if you go back into this GPT in a year, plug in your old asset and say, hey, my life's changed a lot. Help me dial this back in, and it will keep asking you questions. I would encourage you, as you go through this in the future, keep updating these assets because you will change. Your voice will change, the way you speak will change, and the way you communicate will change. So you're gonna wanna go through each GPT in the order I provided them. So life story first, then avatar, then self-scribe, then brand scribe. And again, each GPT will produce an asset, and you're gonna copy that, paste it into a Google Doc, and then you're gonna create a folder in a G Drive that has all this stuff. You can create new projects in the future, okay? And we'll talk a little bit about that. But these assets, those 4 assets, are gonna be the backbone of all of them because you need it to know who you are, what you represent, and how you do what you do. You can also upload additional intellectual property that you have that's relevant to the project. And then the last piece is instructions. So this is it can be complex. I've done it for you. I created the instructions for this GPT. All you have to do is copy and paste it, and I will teach you how to make it for other projects. So with this information, you can create as many projects as you like. The assets will be the backbone, but I suggest that every project that you do has one specific use case. In this instance, we're making a content creation writing assistant AI. I personally have a few of them. So I have one that creates YouTube captions. I have one that creates podcast captions. I have one for formal educational writing. I have one for Coach's Corners brand content. I have one for Master Athletics brand content. and I have one for my personal brand, which I'm still refining as we go. But like I said, the GPT that we're gonna do today is gonna get you about 90% of the way there. And the difference between the jobs is more so related to the instructions and the additional information that you put into it. You don't have to worry about that again. The instructions for this, I've done for you. Because I'm a nice guy, I'm gonna give you a tip. If you wanna make instructions for a new project, all you have to do is open a chat and say, I need you to be an expert in ChatGPT projects and help me create a set of instructions for this specific job and ask me any questions you might have. And it'll create the instructions for you. ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, they are all experts in themselves. So if you don't know how to use them, ask. They'll tell you. Remember, more background information is not better, better is better. So if it's not relevant, leave it out. And again, use voice mode, it will change your life. Please don't overcomplicate it though. Start with the one we're doing today. Then as you get comfortable and you want to build out more specific use cases, you're welcome to do that. So how are we going to create one piece of content that turns into 59? We have to start off with one long form piece of content. And this is the backbone. So we're going to create a lead magnet. So again, a lead magnet is a free piece of content, usually a PDF handout, a short ebook, a manual of some kind. It's gonna solve one specific problem for one specific person, and it's gonna do so in a timely fashion. I made this mistake early on. I was like, all right, free 6-week deadlift program. That's a problem, because they're not gonna buy from me until 6 weeks from now. So think strategies, not tactics. So rather than 6-week deadlift program, think improve your deadlift with these 5 steps, or the master plan for deadlifting, or how to improve your speed in 60 minutes, right? Very quick, actionable topics. The next is we're gonna turn that lead magnet into another form of long form written or visual content, blog posts, YouTube. We're gonna turn those blog posts into social media content, reels and carousels. And if you do a YouTube video within this framework, that'll get you an extra 4 to 5 clips from that video. So now I'm gonna show you how we did it. Okay, I'm gonna do it right in front of you so you know exactly how it's done. And like I said, I did this on the flight with airplane Wi-Fi, so it took a little bit longer than 30 minutes, but if you have good Wi-Fi, you'll be good to go. And there's another bonus tip in there as we go through it. So with this project, you'll get the content to form a lead magnet. I'm gonna pull up my ChatGPT. So lead magnet generation. Initial prompt. You are an expert copywriter in the field of sports performance coaching and business. I recorded a podcast and have attached the transcript here. I want you to review the transcript in its entirety and put together a lead magnet for me. The goal will be to provide private sector sports performance coaches with simple frameworks they can use to market their services online. Use the proposed problems in the transcript to craft the lead magnet. I want the CTA, which is call to action, to be book a call with me for my mentorship at www.mentorship.coachescorneru.com. Ask me any questions you might have to provide the best outputs. Like I said, we're gonna go through this exactly how it happened. It provided me with a draft after 21 seconds. I read through it briefly, and then it asked me a couple questions. Do you want a position specifically for sports performance coaches? Blah, blah, blah. I said, let's position it for coaches of youth athletes. The CTA should be for me, and I want this to be a PDF style lead magnet, expanded to be robust, but I want it to read less like me talking to the audience and more professional tone. I read through it. So the only thing that you're gonna need to do from here is you're gonna open Canva, find a template, brand it to your colors, and just copy and paste it into the template. And then you have a lead magnet. Just a little bit of, if you get really good at AI and you use agentic AI, this is that same thing done for me. I didn't have to do any formatting. You saw how quickly that lead magnet was made? That was made in the same amount of time, all branded for my company. You can go through this and you can make changes. You just have to tell it what changes you want to make. You can even copy it, paste it in a Google Doc, make the changes, copy, paste it back into the chat and say, I like this better, remember for next time. It will remember for next time. So now we have our lead magnet. Cool, one piece of content. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna develop a YouTube script. So we're gonna go back out to our content creator. You're a YouTube copywriting expert in the field of sports performance and business. I want you to take this lead magnet PDF that I have attached here and turn it into a 5 to 7 minute script for a YouTube video I want to make. My audience is private sector strength coaches who want to authentically market their services and build community. Ask me any questions you have to get the best output possible. Before I build this, I want to make sure we get it dialed. Ask me a bunch of questions. And then it actually said in there that it couldn't read the PDF. So I said the lead magnet was attached to the initial prompt. I go into the core promise. Those coaches are stuck. What problem are they solving? Educational tone. CTA to download the resource with the link in the description. I got it, pulled these themes. Guess what? It didn't pull the themes. After I read the script through, I told it, I said, you did not reference the PDF and its contents at all. You're right, I missed the actual PDF and wrote too generically. Here's a revised script directly from Coach's Marketing Cheat Sheet. It tried to cheat me. If you call it out on its mistakes, it'll correct its mistake. It provided a draft. I read through it. Obviously, if I was going to do this YouTube video for myself, this is a sales pitch for the resource. I want this to be more like me teaching them the content within the resource, then suggesting that if they want the comprehensive guide, they can download the resource for more information. I'm telling it what I want in plain English. It redrafted it for me. I need you to be an Instagram copywriting expert, and I want you to craft 3 reels from each of these 3 blogs. So what I did from that YouTube script is I prompted it. I said, I'm happy with this. I would like you to use this YouTube script and create me 3 blogs. It wrote me 3 blogs, okay, just like that. So I said, take each one of these 3 blogs and create 3 reels from each of these 3 blogs. Laid out the scripts for all the reels, 9 script. Now I want you to take each one of these blogs, and for each one, I want you to craft a 6 to 10 slide Instagram carousel and give me suggestions on the type of photo to post with each slide. I also want a personal story-based caption for each carousel you create. Carousel 1, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4. Caption, personal story. I used to sit here staring at my phone thinking, what the hell did I even post today? And it made no sense. Blah, 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 blah. Every client conversation I had was content. Sound familiar? There you go. Carousel 2. So it's doing all the work for me. Am I gonna refine this if I choose to use it? Absolutely. But it got me 90% of the way there. 10, 80, 10. I want you to save, okay, here's the bonus tip. I asked it to create a set of instructions for me that'll act as a master prompt. So I actually took those instructions, and in the resource that I'm giving you, there's a master prompt that you can run. So all you have to do is copy and paste the prompt from the document into the chat, and it'll do this whole thing for you without you prompting it over and over again. Save you more time. So for me to run through that, it took me 10 minutes to talk to you guys about it. It took probably 18 minutes to do on the plane. So how does one piece of content become 59? So we start off with our lead magnet. From that lead magnet, we made a YouTube video, which is a step you can skip. If you don't want to do YouTube videos, you don't have to. We pull 3 clips from the video, and each of those clips gets posted to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts, which takes literally 5 minutes to cross-post. That's 1 + 1 + 12. We create 3 blogs from the YouTube script. Because usually a YouTube script is gonna have 3 topics that they talk about-ish. So you pull 3 topics from each, 3 blog posts. Each blog post gets repurposed as a newsletter that you're gonna send in an email form to all of your people on your email list. Then you're gonna create 3 short reels, usually talking reels, from each blog, and you're gonna post that across 4 platforms. That's 36 more posts. And then 1 carousel from each blog, that's 3 more posts, 1 lead magnet, 59 pieces of content. The beauty of a system like this is the #1 factor that's gonna influence a purchase decision or create community around what you're doing is gonna be watch minutes or consumption minutes. So how much time does someone spend interacting with your content? The best way to do that is to have your content exist across multiple platforms so it can touch multiple audiences. And if you notice, if it all starts with a lead magnet and flows from there, all of your content is going to be aligned with a specific problem for a specific person at a specific time. So there's continuity there. You're hacking the system and you're doing it in a way that's authentic because all the information we gave it is stuff that you've already done. And another thing that I think was a hang up for me is that it kind of felt like cheating, which I'm sure this kind of looks like cheating, but AI is better than you are at recognizing your strengths. But like I said at the beginning, each one of you is the fucking best at what you do. So you need to start showing people. So just reviewing the content channels. So we have lead magnets, they're free resources. We're gonna get an email capture. It's gonna solve one problem. Strategies, not tactics. Emails, funnels. So I mentioned this a couple times, I didn't go into detail. Does anyone know what a funnel is? No? Basically, okay. So a funnel is essentially, I'll use my example. When you opt into that QR code, every couple days you'll get an email from me talking to you about business, talking to you about social media, talking to you about community. The ultimate goal of something like that is for me to sell you something. So a funnel is the set of emails that you can create. So if I go back into ChatGPT, I need you to be a copywriting expert for email marketing in the field of fitness and business. I would like to create a 5 to 7 email funnel to bring people in who just opted in and teach them about the benefits of running an engaged and community-oriented business led through content. Ask me any questions that you might have. That software, by the way, is called Whisperflow. The best. If it's a dictation software that formats as you type or as you speak. Who specifically opted in? So we'll answer the questions. It's the same audience as the lead magnet was developed for. So private sector and high school strength and conditioning coaches. They all have experience in coaching, but very little in business. They opted in for the lead magnet that we just went through and created content for. The funnel's goal is to get them to join the Coaches Corner University mentorship. The offer on the back end is for one-on-one mentorship. So you could classify this as you want. I want this to be story-driven and reflective, but professionally detailed. The key point that I want you to highlight is that everything they do is coaching. That content can be created in an authentic way with proper systems. You just created an email funnel in 3 minutes. You're already a coach and that matters more than you think. I first got into the private sector, I thought I needed to figure out how to grow business. So I did what most people do. I looked at what other coaches were posting, tried to copy, and it seemed like it worked. That's actually literally what I did. Funnels, just built one. Newsletters, if you have an email list or you have a list of customers or you have a list of clients, or even if you work at an institution, email list is something you can leverage to build community, to educate, to showcase your values. And then nurture sequences, which we just created one. Long form content, blog posts, YouTube videos, LinkedIn articles, Substack would go in here too if you have a Substack. And then all your social media channels, Instagram Reels and carousels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Facebook. Look at that. Looks pretty good, right? 3 minutes. I plugged in my talk into Notebook LM, which is another AI software, and I asked it to create an infographic for me. This is the content multiplication system. Now, before anyone asks, I wrote my talk myself because it was important to me. But all the tools that we used to create this stuff on the back end, absolutely with AI. Be a product of your product and show it. Through my life and my business practices, I want to show people that they have the freedom of time and space. But more importantly than that, I really want to show people how deeply they can serve others. And so that if I can provide you with the tools and strategies to do that in a more time-efficient fashion, then personally, I've done my job. In everything I do, I'm trying to raise the bar for coaching. So there's all my contact information if you want to get a hold of me. I know I frame this and all the funnels as me trying to sell you something. Ultimately, I really don't care whether you purchase from me or work with me or not. My goal is to help you. okay? So if I can be of service in any way, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Instagram, at Paul Oneid or at Coach's Corner U. If you're gonna message me, don't message at Coach's Corner U, because admittedly, if I didn't have an online business, I would not have an Instagram account, so checking two, completely off the board. I have the Coach's Corner U podcast. I've had Joe on the podcast a couple times. I'll put out the offer now. If you would like to speak on a podcast and you feel like that you have something to offer the field of coaches as a whole, I would love to have you on my podcast. Just reach out, remind me where we met. I would love to talk to you for an hour, just like we're having coffee. So I hope today you learned how to build your voice, multiply your impact, and more than anything, I hope that you learned that there are systems available to you that will help you connect and serve to a higher level. So if you scan that QR code, you're gonna get access to this Google Drive that has the step-by-step guide, which actually has pictures and screenshots. Makes it very easy. All of the GPTs, the instructions for the project, the voice DNA, an example prompt. So this prompt is what you can use. Copy and paste that prompt into the chat, and it'll run the whole script for you, start to finish. Thank you. Any questions?
I'm sure there's questions.
What's that? Oh yeah, sure.
I know you. I see the systems that you're making with AI, and it's phenomenal. But how do you approach it with content itself? Like with AI, do you incorporate content like what you're posting on a daily basis with AI, or is that all you?
What I do on a weekly basis is one of the things that I do is I go into all of my call recordings. So I mentioned all my Zoom calls are recorded, and I'll upload those transcripts into a project, and I'll say, pull out 10 core themes that I spoke about on multiple occasions, make them relevant to my ideal client, and it'll pump out some topics for me to talk about. I'm not a very creative person, which is why I rely on systems a lot. And again, AI is great at recognizing patterns. The same way it does in sports science with data, it does in written content as well. So if your problem is the topics that you want to talk about, bro, you talk all day. Whatever content that you have about what you're doing, put it in there, ask it to pull out some themes. Once you train it on who you are, who you serve, it gets really good at identifying those. When it comes to using AI in terms of like scripts, I use AI for pretty much all of my YouTube scripts. I'll input the intellectual property that I have on that specific topic. In a lot of instances, I'll put in some studies that I want to reference, and then I'll have it arrange it in a way that flows with like a hook in the body. But I always go in and I always change it, because inevitably it's never perfect. So you got to do that last 10% on the back end. Did that answer your question? Okay, perfect.
Essentially, that step-by-step process could be manipulated slightly for a high school strength coach to want to brand himself, his program, or help his athletes understand specific nuance of training more effectively. It could be utilized to create a infographic that you could send to your athletes to remind them. It could be a video that you create that you put on YouTube to drive the education part of it, but also drive your name in a branding and marketing perspective for yourself. I guess me sitting here listening to that, like, I have been averse to self-branding throughout my career. I post in Ghost, or I put my athletes first, and I don't ever typically talk about myself. I'll post a video of myself lifting or whatever, and what I've realized in the last 60 to 70 minutes was that I think me personally, I'm missing the boat on a lot of the potential that exists with seemingly minimal amount of work with some of the things that I've done in my career, and it should be no different for you all.
Yeah, absolutely. So we think, I was speaking with Evan Marcus. Speaking with Evan Marcus, former NFL strength and conditioning coach. He's been in the industry for 36 years. And he's like, oh, I don't know what to do. You know, I want to get back into I want to get another job, but I want to think about how I can create an impact. And when I think the exact words I used was, think about how much impact you could have on the world if you just figured out how to talk about what makes you special. Because at the end of the day, strength coaches are selfless. I'm not asking you to be selfish. I'm not asking you to shine a light on yourself. I'm asking you to use a tool that will allow you to showcase the lessons that you've learned to serve others, which is all of our goals. What makes Joe special isn't his lifts in the gym. It's not, the fact he's repping Adidas and drinking Rain, which thank you very much for this. I'm very caffeinated. It's the fact that every person he's worked with over however many years, I guarantee you he can remember something about them. What makes Joe special as a coach? What makes you all special as a coach? I'm sure you have all the knowledge in the world, but it's how you use your own experiences, your own beliefs to impact others. What this is going to allow you to do, it's going to allow you to do that at a much higher clip to a much wider audience, while also bringing your close audience in closer. I told a few personal stories during the talk. Ultimately, those personal stories have shaped the way that I think about things and the way that I communicate now. But we spend so much time in the weeds with the single athlete, with the parent, with the big group. Very rarely do we think about what has allowed us to get to that point. That personal story, GPT, if you really take the time to go into it and tell it about your life, you'll be really surprised at the links that the AI can make between that life story and the other intellectual property that you feed into it. Like Joe said, this framework, while I framed it around social media, because I think all of you could stand from improving your social media game, it could be an infographic for your facility. It could be a guide on nutrient timing for the actual kids in the room. It could literally be any piece of content that you want to create. But the key is doing the background work to teach AI to talk like you, to think like you, to have your life stories, the things that you are too busy serving to think about. That's the key.
Sorry, because it's all kind of new to me, but
Yeah.
So essentially you're giving the blueprint or giving the game on how to use AI or what platform to put into AI. Like this is not a chat GPT. You're saying this is like the blueprint to put into a chat GPT to them.
So this step-by-step guide. So create a GPT account. Paid version is best. Go through the prompts, and then this actually shows you how to actually put it into ChatGPT. Again, you can use all these assets in Claude. You can do it in Perplexity. I chose ChatGPT because it's like each GPT has its specialty. ChatGPT is the most general and the most broad, so that's why I chose that one. With this, like this background work, that's really the key to everything. Did I? Okay.
What advice or where did you learn how to ask the right questions in the way you were like?
So I actually tried to do the math because I wanted to include it in the talk, but I probably spent 10 to 15 grand on continuing education, like going to masterminds, spending time one-on-one with people to teach me this stuff. Because ultimately I work with coaches trying to build their businesses. So for me, it's investing into the product that I can provide. But honestly, if you spent an afternoon binge watching YouTube, you could do it. But this is gonna get you. Like if you're able to master this and prompt it with literally anything, again, you just have to have the assets on the back end of a script or a talk that you gave or whatever. Because like we created that lead magnet, right? That lead magnet was created based off of a podcast I recorded. So what do you do for a living, if I'm gonna ask?
I have my own fitness and performance business, and it specializes with golfers.
Okay.
Kind of a little bit of general fitness.
Have you been on a podcast recently?
I've not.
Have you done any sort of writing on your topic?
A little bit.
Okay, if you had an article that you wrote, you start this framework, you create your project, you start the framework, and you say, I want you to use this article to craft a lead magnet on XYZ topic. I missed the role part. Give it a role. I'm a copywriter in fitness, specializing in golf. I want you to take this article that I wrote, and I want you to turn it into a lead magnet resource that solves XYZ problem. This is my target audience. Ask me any questions. It already knows your target audience for the business. It knows how you write. You've given it a couple examples, so it'll look at its memory. It'll look at the content that you just uploaded to it, and it'll spit out a draft. You can then edit that draft, go and make changes, and then it'll spit out a final copy. You copy and paste that into a Canva template, done.
What would be your advice versus like your personal Instagram and your business and connecting the two? Like how would you maximize that?
That's a great question. So how many of you have personal Instagrams and business Instagrams? Okay. How tough is that for you to manage? Okay. So initially my advice for everyone do you have staff?
Oh, no,
Just you, even better. So what you're gonna do is you're essentially going to use a mirror account. So you're gonna post everything from your personal account and just collaborate it over to your business. Then infrequently, you can make posts on that business account that do not collaborate with your personal account. The reason I choose to do it this way is because no one is gonna, even for us at Master Athletic Performance, no one's gonna find Paul and Liv through Map, but they are gonna find Map through Paul and Liv. So you wanna maximize the thing that's gonna get the most views, because usually your personal account will have more followers than the business. So you wanna drive your personal followers over to the business. And then if periodically that business makes posts, even better. If the business, I'm gonna get a bit nuanced here, if the business was gonna make posts, I would keep those to more so educational posts that aren't necessarily geared to drive more eyes, but are geared towards driving more value. Does everyone know the difference, like reels, carousels, pictures, that sort of stuff in terms of the Instagram algorithm? No? Okay, so a reel in general is gonna get preferentially shown to non-followers. So if you were to go into the insights of your YouTube and check a reel, it's gonna have more non-followers viewing it than followers, typically. If you go to a carousel, it's primarily gonna be shown to your followers. We're talking like 90+% follower views versus non-follower views. Why is that important? Well, because it should drive the type of content that you create with those different mediums. The medium is the message. So if you're creating a reel, you want it to be emotional, so it should create an emotion. Example, I posted a reel a couple weeks ago. The first 3 seconds, I tear both my quads. Gross. Got a lot of views, because that was the goal. So it has to be emotional, has to be resonant, so someone can see themselves in the content. I posted one recently where it's Olivia and I training in the garage, and the caption has something to do with the fact that we want to be parents. That got shared like crazy, it blew up. So emotional, resonant, or novel. So if there's an exercise that you do that's new and exciting, or a big lift, throw it in a reel because it's gonna get a lot of views. If you want to educate your people, you don't want new eyes, because new eyes don't give a fuck who you are. You have no credibility with them. So you want to post carousels that are going to get shown primarily to your audience, because they've already given you permission to educate them. And then stories, if you're posting stories, the only people that watch stories are the ones that are most engaged with you, because the more they watch your stuff, the closer to the left your stories are going to be. So if you're going to promote anything, sell anything, or just live your life and you want to showcase that, do it in stories.